Hello everyone, welcome for this new episode of the ESO News. Today we are speaking about the update 4 that has been released this 15 September 2014. In my previous episodes concerning the road ahead August 2014, I have already spoke a lot about the content of this new update, but this time I will go deeper in details and I will also share with you the reaction of the community. A lot of you have immediately access to this content as you are already veteran level, but a lot of players are still currently leveling their main character, like myself, and they may wonder what to expect once they reach max level. So for those players, I will try to honestly and with most neutrality possible share the content, what they can expect once they reach it, and share with you my experience. Indeed, if I do not have a max level on live server, I had the chance to play a lot the PTS, so I had a good taste of this content that you can see in my series I'm doing together with Zix RPG, and you can find the playlist in the information below. The next update, update 4, introduce Upper Craglorn, and this includes the new trial, the Serpent Trial, Sanctum of Vidya, the DragonStar Arena, a new trait called Nearhonet, a new delve improved, they continue to improve the delve in Bankeride, Reaper's Marsh and Rift, a new particle system to improve your FPS, and a lot of quests have been revamped to improve the grouping experience, and also a lot of fixes and improvement as usual. Let's start with something negative. Every updates are always bringing their share of bugs, and this time it's not really a bug, but something a little bit annoying is that your option, all your setting will be resetted, so your keybind, your chat colors, your video settings, everything you will have to do like me and remake it all, which is okay when you have only one character, but when you have 6 or more it's really irritating. So a suggestion to Zenimax from the community, please let us the possibility to make those settings by account instead of making them by character. It will save us a lot of time and will be a lot more comfortable. The major addition of this new update is Upper Craglorn. So it's not exactly a new zone, it's simply a new area that has been added to the existing map of Craglorn. So it's in the north, and it includes new quests, new hub, new dungeon, new delve, new trial, the Serpent Trial, and DragonStar Arena, but also anomalies, world bosses, and everything you had been used to find in the south part of the map. So you will not have loading screen between the two parts. You may even not realize that you are in the upper part because the transition is very smooth, it's very nice. And the geography is a little bit changed. It's a lot more Skyrimish in the style, and there's really stunning vista. It's really gorgeous. So this content is of course for a group of 4 persons ideally. That doesn't mean you cannot do the quest or the bosses if you are 3, but it will be a little bit more tough, and if you are 2 it can be very difficult or maybe even impossible. It all depends on your group composition, your skill and your gear. This is actually what a lot of players are complaining about when they say, I do not like this update. It's because they do not like to be forced to group in Craglorn. And I have found on the forum a very good point from a player. I would like to read a little code that he has written because it was something that were really amazing me. I enjoy Craglorn. I find it super fun. I enjoy the fact to be able to do quests that are challenging for a group of 4 persons. As healer, is a real pleasure to be able and to have to heal your group member while you are questing. But this guy has an interesting point, so I would like to share it with you. I don't mind playing in a group. I joined a group yesterday for DragonStar, a quest and a delve in Upper Craglorn. My issue is based on the belief that Craglorn is a failed experiment. Prior to yesterday's update, Craglorn was dead, except for grinders and people tackling trials. The numbers of people questing, exploring and clearing delves in Craglorn is exceptionally small, much smaller than even the deadest veteran zone. The low usage is a direct result of the grouping requirements. If the questing and delve content had been designed for solo and duo players, the content will actually be played instead of sitting idle most of the time. Craglorn is a design failure. So that's the advice of one person that shared it on the forum, but there's a lot of players that actually think like this guy. But let's not be gloomy. There is also a lot of players that do not want to grind in Craglorn, and they are actually interested to do quests. The problem, I believe, is that players, especially in the Elder Scrolls Online, are used to play solo, and they have a little bit of difficulties to organize themselves to play with other players. If you have a big guild, it's easy. You can organize in your guild forum, your calendar, whatever, and you can find 3 other persons to go with you. But if you do not have this organization, or you are more in a solo mindset, it can be difficult. So people, if you want to quest in Craglorn, if you want to experiment that, you are not the only one. You just need to find friends, add them to your friend list, and to organize yourself. And there is an interesting thread on the forum, which is not called looking for friends, because it started by someone whining. After 3 months still unable to find anyone bothering to quest with me in Craglorn, this guy started by complaining, and there is actually a lot of players that answer him, but I'm up to quest. I would like to quest myself. So of course you have players from the North American mega server, some from the European one, some are Aldmeri Dominion, some are Ebonheart, or whatever. So it needs a bit of organization, but maybe it's a good idea to use this thread to actually say, hey guys, I'm up for it, I want to quest as well. My experience of Craglorn is very positive. Together with Six, we organized several guild events to explore Craglorn, and we gathered 3 or 4 persons. We didn't touch the quest because we wanted to keep the story for our main character, but we went into delve, into dungeon, and we simply explored the world. And I can tell you the main feeling I got while doing so, it's a real feeling of adventure, because the content is harder, because the landscape is gorgeous, because you don't always know where you're going. It really feels like a proper Dungeon and Dragon game, like the pen and paper one. It's a real adventure, and I think that Zenimax touched the right things to create this feeling. And that's why I'm very surprised that it has not as much success as it should be, because it's really great. I really suggest, if you have not started Craglorn, please try to find friends and guildies and to explore it that way, because it's very fun. The delves, for instance, are very different from the delves you find in the normal world. Instead of being open to anyone, they are closed, so it's instances for a group of 4 persons maximum. And it's just for you, and it's like a mini dungeon, and sometimes you have 1 boss, sometimes you have several bosses, and every delves are very different in styles and in layout, and they present sometimes really amazing environments, and you really go through a hole and get out suddenly, and wow, there is a breach and cliffs and mountain, and it's really amazing for that. And the dungeons are very interesting as well. They are challenging, they are fun, and they present different environment and boss and everything. It's really cool, and I hope that people will start to appreciate it more, because Craglorn really deserves more love. A new trial had been added to the game is the Serpent Trial in Sanctum Ophidia. So it's the most difficult content at this day in the Elder Scrolls Online. The stories that you have been through in Craglorn will conclude in this trial, and it has been said that once you finish and you defeat the serpent, and you go back to Helra Citadel and the Alterian Archive, you will see that your action have not been without impact. So that's pretty cool, even if I'm not sure about what it means exactly, as I have not been in any of those trials. The most successful addition of this update is no doubt the DragonStar Arena. I have only read positive comments, everyone seems to be thrilled about it. It's a completely new concept. Instead of being a dungeon, it's an arena where players will have to face waves of mobs. Each waves are different, with different abilities, and every time you finish a wave, you succeed to kill them all, you have a fire that shows you success. You have 5 waves by arena that finish with a boss. Once you have defeated that boss, you can loot a chest and go to the next arena. Each arena will be presenting a new biome, a new environment, and new type of mobs and bosses. What's very fun is that you have a lot of environmental stuff to deal with. For instance, in the Skyrim arena you have a blizzard, in the jungle arena you have poison on the ground and plants that grab you. Every time it's something different that will surprise you. You have a normal mode and you have a veteran mode, and the veteran mode are so difficult that there is only 3 guilds that manage to clear it all and succeed. It's Hodor, Daphne and Volducan, and they all earn the right to have a question and answer session with one developer of their choice, as there was a contest organized by Zenimax during the PTS. To have tested it myself, I can tell you that it's very challenging indeed, but also very fun. And so I think it's a very nice addition to the game. It's the kind of content that players want. So it can break up the routine of doing normal dungeon to face something that is packed with action, very fast-paced, and where you're really facing more and more challenging content. The difficulty is increasing and you can see your own progression in that way. It's very motivating, especially for players that are a bit min-maxer and that want to overcome the biggest challenge. So I guess that Zenimax will come back with similar content in next update in future. This update brings also something interesting in terms of equipment. The crafter will be happy. They can learn a new trait, Learn Haunt, that brings spell resistance or more, and spell resistance and spell penetration to weapon. You can find the materials to learn this trait by completing quest in Upper Craglorn on harvesting. In Upper Craglorn you will find the stone that you need to create it. That's for crafter. And for the person that wants nice set bonus, we have now ability altering enchantment. So there are several of them. So those weapon or this enchant, you can find it on weapon found in the DragonStar Arena, the Serpent Trial, or the leaderboard in Cyrodiil. Zenimax is currently reworking on the delve. The last updates they had revamped all delve of Cold Harbor, and this time they focus on Bankorite, Reaper's Marsh and Rift delves. The delves are something players usually enjoy a lot. It's a small mid dungeon that are open to everyone, so you can be as much as you want inside it. It's not instance yet, in the contrary of Craglorn delves, and you will find Sky Shard, lore books and a boss, and also several chests. But once you have done them in the first zone, you kind of find it repetitive. There's different sort of delve. For instance, you have the Islet Ruin delve, you have the mine delve, the cave delve, the Breton fortress delve, but they are always the same and they always present the same layout. So even if you have different mob in it, it's kinda repetitive. So now they are reworking completely on this. They are improving the size, making it bigger and more interesting. And I have done an experiment. I've done 2 delves in Bankarai, and immediately after I have done the same delve in the PTS to see what was the difference exactly. And it's very interesting. As you can see in this video, we are in a Breton delve. You have seen this one plenty of time in Gleninbra, in Stormhaven, in Ravenspire, sorry. Yeah, it has nothing special. It's an old fortress. But here you can see that while there was an NPC before that were giving you a quest, instead you have a hole that's opening up and you have the whole additional part that has been added with this update. And now we are clearly in Bankarai. There is no doubt. We are in a cave in Bankarai. You see it with the color of the stone and with the light. It's completely different. You also have different bosses. It's a bit difficult for me to tell if they were more powerful than before, because I was with a pre-made character that were way too high level for this place, but they seem a bit more interesting indeed. Another thing that I've noticed in the other delve that I have tested is that the story is a bit different. There's more flavor in that as well from a lore point of view. In this delve in particular, the goal is to find out which clan of orc has made a big feat, they have massacred or something. And in the first delve it's a bit boring, you just face those orcs and you kill them, and that's it. But here you can see that in the delve there is 2 clans of orcs, and when they are close to each other they start to fight. So it gives a lot more dimension to the whole story of those 2 clans that try to overcome the other and be the most powerful orc clan. So this is a work that's ongoing, so we will see in the next update probably delve of other zones that are revamped as well. And it's time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video and you find it informative and entertaining. If you like it, please share it or thumbs up. If you have any comment or any question, do not hesitate to contact me. I'm easily reachable. I like to interact with my viewers. You find all information below, and my character in-game is Elloa. You can add me. I'm playing on the European Mega server on the Daggerfall Covenant site. I wish you a very great day and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye everyone.